Okay, we're back now. Video 2 in this series on transcribing jazz piano made easy. Exactly what you need in your toolbox to get all the way from boom, idea, inspiration to mastery on the keyboard. So now I'm digging into AnyTunes. You've got your track you love, you downloaded AnyTunes, you got that sucker on your laptop, you dropped it in there, you got it on the phone, you're looking at it. So what we need to do next, and this is such a really important next step, and we talk about this all the time when we're looking at transcribing and making sure that we're successful as a transcriber. In my life, I was always like a lick guy. Like for me, I always went in and found a little morsel, that jazz lick that Bill Evans did, or that Wynton Kelly did, or O.P. Oscar Peterson. And I just really, really wanted to know what that lick was. And then I wanted to just make sure that I had that sucker under my hands, that I could use it on the gig. So I was never one of those guys that would, I did it, but I was never where I wanted to go with my time. I never transcribed whole solos over and over. Like I have a good friend, and he was way into Cannonball. And Doug would transcribe the entire Cannonball Adderley songbook. And that's totally badass. That provides something different than what we're talking about here, which is how do you get something you really love, like a little morsel of musical magic, under your fingers as fast as possible. So, yeah, we're in AnyTunes, and now what we need to do is set our intention. So this is vital. This is like every single day of your life, by the way, but it's also very much every single day of our transcribing jazz piano playing life, just our musician's life, which is we need to make sure we're very clear on what it is we love about this tune. Oftentimes, we'll go into a lesson or we'll go into a week of playing and we'll be like, man, I want to sound just like Wynton Kelly. And it's like, it's way too big a goal. We need to just reduce that sucker down to, I have this one track off this one Wynton Kelly record, and he plays this one single lick, and it's totally badass, and I really want to learn it. I want to make sure that I own that one Wynton Kelly lick. That is what I mean by setting intention. So just kind of rule number one around making transcribing jazz piano really easy is set very focused goals. That is key. It's been key in my life, and hopefully it'll be really a game changer for you, totally transformative. So now let's go into AnyTunes and take a look at this real quick. Just tour the dashboard and get this sucker moving. So first of all, obviously up here you have the music. This is the sound wave. This is, if I go ahead and press play, right? Okay, so already Wynton Kelly's just crushing. You're like, what? Dude, how is it you're so swinging? Plus his feel and the way he phrases. I just freaking love it. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, man, it makes my day 20 times better. So I'm going to actually, for our sake, I'm going to highlight a lick I've heard in the beginning that I love. So I'm going to take that very first lick and I'm going to go for a loop point. So I'm going to take this right here. Notice what I'm doing is I'm just scrolling back over here, and then you'll see down here A, B. Those are the loop points, right? I'm going to type A into my computer, and that's going to set the loop point for A. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type B when I get to the end of my loop. Okay, now you'll notice that I typed it a little bit after the pickup for the next lick. The reason is because I want a clean loop that stays in time. So let's see what we do. Now if I push the back arrow, it's going to go straight back and toggle between A and B. So that's totally badass for us. Last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to just do a little slight adjustment. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for me. And you can do that right, let's see here. I'm just going to actually do it here. Where is making it bigger? Come on now. How do we make it bigger? Bigger. Oh, well, I'm not going to make it any bigger right now. I'm just going to keep moving because that's what we're doing. Okay, so I made it a little bit, I tightened it up. And notice. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, now you notice it just went right over B. Why did it go right over B? Because I haven't pushed this important button right there, which highlights the loop. Dig it? Now the loop is highlighted. Okay, so let's see what we got. Come on! Okay, I'm going to tighten up this B a little bit because I think it's a little too long. That feels pretty good. Uh-huh. I just love that boo-doo, that little left hand move. Ooh, tasty. Okay, sweet. So now we've got our loop set. And notice, you might be like, whoa, wait a minute, dude. That's not enough. I want to learn the entire A section. I want to learn the whole tune. I want to go straight to his solo and learn his entire solo. All good, except, does this sound familiar to you? You're super psyched. You set these huge goals around what you want to be able to do as a jazz pianist. Then you get into it. You sort of go for a day or two and you're super jazzed. You're like, whoo, I'm going to get it. And then by day 3, it gets a little bit harder to stay on. You can't quite remember the whole solo you started learning. By day 4, you're like, this is actually harder than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I'll just try to find another solo to start working on. Again, what happens? We start popcorning all around. Instead of saying really laser beam focused on one single nugget of musical magic that we can master, we're shooting too big on this stuff. You got to remember that we want to go from inspiration to execution. We want to be playing as soon as possible. And this, by the way, is one of the biggest mistakes that happen with practicing jazz pianists and the students of mine, like across the board. And it's happened to me before too. Of course, when I say I'm, of course, a student just like you, but we don't have a very clear goal in mind. So as a result, we just kind of swim around there and try and learn more than we're capable of learning. We don't know the edge of what we're capable of learning. So we go right off the edge, fall off the cliff. Next thing we know, we're quitting on the idea. And then we think we're like not good enough to be a jazz pianist. When in fact, all that we did was not set a focused enough intention around what we're going to learn. So here I've got 2 bars of Wynton Kelly just swinging his ass off. That's a great place to start, especially if you're just discovering Wynton Kelly, because he does swing his ass off and he will change your playing for life. Okay, in the next video, we're going to dive into, okay, so now we've got this lick. How are we going to unpack the sucker? I want to start playing the piano. That's coming up next.